Hi there, I'm Carly Paoli and I thank you all today for watching Music News.
Carly Paoli, it's great to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. I had a very exciting night last night, so I'm just spending time with the team and just then enjoying everything that we've been working really hard towards.
Yeah, no, I was lucky enough to be there last night at the launch at BAFTA. It was a great performance. Did you enjoy it yourself?
Loved every minute of it, I have to say. I mean, it was a huge privilege to be conducted that evening by Gianluca Amado, and I first had the honour of working with Gianluca last year when we did a special performance to celebrate Pope Francis's Year of Mercy in the heart of Rome, in the Roman Forum. So that was an incredible setting, and I was joined on stage with some exceptional musicians. So it was awesome to bring to life the music that features on my album, Singing My Dreams.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we had a quick chat with Gianluca yesterday, and yeah, he mentioned that was the first time we worked together, and so you obviously just clicked. And
oh, he's wonderful, and he completely has, you know, that inner sight of what the music should be. I think he's extremely passionate, and it's wonderful. You know, the producer of my album is Romano Musamara.
Yes, yes.
There's a lot of Italian influence in this album, so it's wonderful to work with somebody like Gianluca that completely understands both worlds. He's got the cinematic element of kind of the universal global music that we're setting out to touch the world with, but then it's always got that Italian twist with Se tu fossi and Almeno tu nell'universo.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're about to release your album next Friday, Singing My Dreams. Is this the culmination of a life's work for you?
Absolutely, and that's why I've called it Singing My Dreams. You know, I'd say as young as 7 years old, I've known exactly what I wanted to do, and that dream was always to be on stage performing. So to finally be doing this, it's the most satisfying thing for me as an artist, but also all my family. And I believe the album is unique in the sense that it's taken me 3 years to get to this stage, and most of the songs have actually been performed on a live platform prior to going into a recording studio, so that already kind of gives an extra depth to the element of emotion that I felt recording the songs, because I'd got an association with a memory.
Yes, yes.
The first song on the track is a song called Music of Heaven, and I heard that when I was 16 years old in the Players Theatre, watching one of my idols, which is Jason Robert Brown, perform this acoustic performance of this extremely intimate song, and it touched me so much that it was something I always dreamt. Going back to that word again, dream, I'd always wanted to perform at some point in my life.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a stunning collection of songs, wonderfully brought together. I mean, it's obviously been very well thought through, and even a Jose Carreras duet there, a very rare occurrence. How did you manage that?
That was an unbelievable, I'd call it Goss Tapestry. With Jose Carreras, I mean, as a student, I studied at the Royal Northern College of Music in Manchester, and you know, with my coach and everybody, there was always go-to singers to listen to, you know, see how the greats did it. And Jose Carreras was one of those greats. He's a legend, he truly is. And when you're stood next to him and you hear the sound that he produces, and that musical quality, it's an extraordinary voice. And we recorded this song in Aranjuez con tu amor, which is one of his most iconic songs actually, because it's speaking of his homeland in Spain and the Garden of Aranjuez, and what it means to Spain, this beautiful space. And so we recorded the song in Barcelona, which is his hometown, and I had a bit of a battle because he was very eager to not miss the football match. Barcelona and Madrid were playing that day, yeah, so I had a fight with the football that day, but we made the song happen, and it's unique as well in the sense it's a modern adaptation of a classic. I added the English text, which depicts the kind of what the Spanish is illustrating. So it's a modern take on an iconic classic.
Yeah. And you also got a song, co-writing song credit with Ennio Morricone called Se tu fossi, as you mentioned, from Cinema Paradiso, one of the best films of all time, in my opinion. English lyrics, is that obviously a very special song for you as well?
Unbelievably special. And Se tu fossi, I'm going back probably 3 years. Again, I gained so much performance experience during my study years, from being, I'd say, 16 to at least 24, performing in Puglia in the south of Italy. So all my summers, I'd finish studying here in the UK, and then I'd fly straight out to be with my family out in the south of Italy, and I'd just sing in all the piazzas, and it would be for next to nothing, but the experience that I gained from that is absolutely priceless.
Of course.
And that was one of my go-to songs, to sing in the piazzas, Nuovo Cinema Paradiso. It's such a wonderful, it's amazing music. And so when we did the show at the Roman Forum last year, we did a unique version of Se tu fossi, where I added again an English text in the middle that kind of depicts what the Italian sentiment is about. And I think that's important because music should be universal, and I'd like everybody to be able to understand and invest an emotion in what we're singing and what we're playing about on stage. And it's actually that live version that features on my album. So yes, I now have a writing credit with Ennio Morricone and his son Andrea Morricone.
And the Italian audiences must be the most welcoming in the world.
Yeah.
They're always clapping.
They do. They completely embrace music. And I recently received the Premio Barocco award, which to me was a huge honour because it comes from the south of Italy. And so to be recognised for my passion and what I'm trying to do for the musical culture of Italy, and celebrating it I think in the way it should be, with orchestras and live music, and selecting these iconic UNESCO sites. I think that's it's a great way to share, such as Pope Francis's message of hope, which we did last year, and to just celebrate music.
Absolutely. And the album's recorded at Abbey Road with Romano Massamura at the helm, who obviously he composed for Pavarotti, Domingo Carreras. What was it like to work with him?
He's a superstar. I've loved working with Romano. I think what's particularly special is he really listens to singers. I've been hugely privileged that I've been able to take part in the creativity of the music. Lots of singers, they're just given something to sing and say, make of it what you will. But with Romano, I've really been able to talk to him. I've written lyrics with him, and then he's composed my lyrics, and that's something that they're so precious when you actually become part of the creativity of the music. It's unbelievably fulfilling when you bring your own creative work to life, and I've loved every minute of working with him. He's a special man.
Absolutely. Another sort of a standout moment on the album is One Bright Star, which was written by your musical mentor Liz Hetherington.
Yeah.
What does that song mean to you?
One Bright Star, I suppose it's how would I say it? It's a bigger version of myself. I met Liz Hetherington when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, incredible journey there, really.
Yeah, it is. And she pulled my mum to one side. I would join Stagecoach, just starting to get a taste for performing, and she took my mum to one side and she says, I think your daughter's got a talent if you thought of singing lessons. and it was her that took me under my wing, and I'm still under her coaching now, but she's now my musical director. And she's always written music and composed, but this song is probably because somebody knows you so well. They know everything about the colours of your voice, where it sounds best, what they should amplify about your character, and so it's an extremely fulfilling song to perform on stage.
I mean, you're saying that you met her when you were 9, but when did you know that you had a voice that was, you know, this is a gift, I've got to use it?
Not at 9. I mean, at 9 I just love to sing. And actually at 4 years old I loved to sing. I sang morning till night to the Disney movies, and then I moved on to the MGM musicals, which I just got stacked, Singing in the Rain, Gigi. Probably when I got to sort of 10, 11, I started taking part in talent competitions. I'd sing anywhere I could, at the drop of a hat, karaoke, you named it. If there was a microphone, I was up there and I was singing.
No nerves ever?
No, I'm more nervous now than I ever was, funny enough. It's been an amazing journey, but no, actually when you're young you never have any inhibitions, you just do it, don't you? It's when you get older that the little extra thoughts start to creep in, but it's always, as they say, it's always all right on the night.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you last year as well with Andrea Bocelli at the O2. I mean, that must have been, you look very comfortable there. You look like a superstar. I mean, that special moment for you as well.
Well, I think I'd got more adrenaline that night than I've ever experienced. Wow, the O2, it's like nothing I've ever experienced. You just walk out onto that platform and just a mass of people, and of course I sang his most famous song, Conte Partiro, which it gave a standing ovation at the end, and as a singer you couldn't wish for any more.
Yeah, I mean, goosebumps, absolutely all the way. A fantastic song. And I mean, you certainly seem to have all the right connections. You've got a great team around you. I mean, the only sort of surprise is that you almost left it this long to release the album. Why is the time right now for the debut?
There's been a long time that, you know, I've been collating songs, and actually songs have come about because of what we're doing. So as I was saying, last year my Ave Maria became adopted as Pope Francis's song for the Year of Mercy, but this led to do this spectacular concert at the Roman Forum. To finish the concert, because it was the Year of Mercy, there was a special song written just for that called A Time for Mercy. So it kind of gave a summary of what all these artists that from around the world had come together to deliver this truly important global message. And it started with a boys' choir, so that emphasised the purity, and, you know, we're doing this for the next generations. Songs come around because of what you're doing at the time, and I think that's what's been nice about the album. It's all been spontaneous, and each song's there for a reason and not as a stocking filler. I always say it's not absolutely just a holding place. It's
beautifully orchestrated and produced. I mean, did you ever imagine the final document would be sort of this cohesive?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, to have writing credits up there with Ennio Morricone and James Horner as well, that's something that is completely priceless. And for my first album as well, it's got such a huge part of me invested in it, and actually all my team as well, they've worked so hard. I've been blessed with amazing support around me, so I hope and pray that it does do well in it, and people enjoy listening to it as much as we've enjoyed creating it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they will. I mean, you yourself grew up in Mansfield, but got Italian roots, have you said, in Puglia, through your mother's Italian heritage. Do you think that Italian heritage has been pivotal in shaping your musical outlook?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mansfield, I owe a big thank you to Mansfield. They have a talent competition every year called Junior Showtime, and I took part in that talent competition annually from being 9 years right up to 18 when I finally won. It took me that long to win. But then at the same time, as I say, in Puglia, all that time to be able to go out into piazzas and sing different music and actually learn who I was as a performer and what made me excited and what I felt more invested in musically. I learned so much about myself during that time. Nobody gets that kind of experience while they're studying.
Yeah, and you're about to go on tour with Calabro in October. I saw them there last night supporting you at the launch.
Yeah,
is that a match made in heaven?
I think it will be. I'm a big lover of musical theatre, and actually, you know, it's classical music, it's classical crossover, but musical theatre such as the Judy Garlands and the Julie Andrews of the world, that's one of the things, that ability to tell a story to your audience is one thing that I fell in love with, and Calabro do that in an exceptional way, so it'll be great to actually sing and do some duets together as well. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, lovely chaps as well. I mean, you've performed all over the world at some incredible venues. What are a couple of highlights that spring to mind?
It has to be, for me, one of my most special memories was performing One Bright Star in Terme di Caracalla, which it's the ancient Roman baths, and that was, I'd had my international debut with David Foster, who I'm really fond of, because he sort of gave me a big break. You know, he invested his trust in me to step out onto that stage, and out in Calgary I performed that evening on the same stage as Jennifer Hudson and Steven Tyler, which it was a massive jump from where I'd been before. But that night at Terme di Caracalla I sang lots of the songs that feature on my album, but that song One Bright Star, it was just that sense of all of this is becoming a reality. Everything that I dreamt of, and actually my dream became my mother's dream, my singing coach's dream, and now all this team, we've managed to deliver this tonight, and it was a really special feeling.
Great. I mean, everyone has a lucky break, you just sort of mentioned there, but what do you think, if you had to put it down to one pivotal point in your life that sort of turned things for the better?
My lucky break came when a luxury watch brand, Beda & Co, made me an ambassador, and that's because they nurture young talents. It's Madame Simone Beda's legacy, and she was an incredible woman, that she was the first lady to make a watch brand that was designed only for women. And so the way they celebrate her legacy and her heritage of what she did is to celebrate women in the arts. And they gave me my first break, and because the Calgary event for David Foster's Miracle Gala was sponsored by Beda & Co, that gave me my first international platform, and it just all snowballed from there.
Fantastic. Who do you look to for inspiration?
So many people. I mean, it's not always classical musicians as well. I love to listen to Rennie Fleming, and Frederica von Stade is a huge favourite, but I equally love to look at somebody like Michael Jackson and Barbra Streisand, who you just see music through and through every vein of the body.
Yeah. What are your musical ambitions?
I mean, my number one dream is I hope this album, you know, touches the world. I hope this will do everything that we've all dreamt and we've all worked really hard for, because it's music that I was inspired by, just as you've said, by musical greats such as Michael Jackson and Barbra Streisand, that go out there and they can deliver songs of love, of hope, of peace, and it really motivates, and music can make you feel different. It's an extraordinary way to share an emotion and a message, and if I can inspire other young artists and even children in the way I was inspired to want to go out there and reach and do music, that would be a huge honour.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thanks a lot for your time. It's been an absolute
thank
pleasure.
You.
So, Singing My Dreams is obviously coming out next week. What is your favourite song to sing from the album when you're performing live?
That's difficult. I think Memory of You means a great deal to me, because I wrote the lyric, and at the time I wrote the lyric thinking about my grandmother, who was she was a very prominent person in my life. She bought me all my costumes, and you know, she was there every step of the way. So I wrote that song completely influenced by the way I felt about her at the time, and actually it's the easiest thing I've ever written, because you know, it was all there, it just needed to come out onto the paper. But it means a lot to me to sing that song and also hear it back and hear something that I heard once in my imagination brought to life.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time. Anything else you'd like to say to Music News viewers?
All I can say is, you know, this is my first debut album. It means such a great amount to me, and I just hope and pray that you all enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed creating this.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.